Yes,
Yo,
sir.
yo, 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 yo.
Yes,
Welcome back.
sir. Yes,
Welcome back,
sir.
everybody. We are back with another video, another episode of the Dynastyers podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darius Capers, aka Kung Fu Cape. You guys know me better as that. We are back from our bye weeks. Yes, here at the Dynastyers, we get 2 weeks as a bye week. So we are back to finish the season strong. I'm gonna pass it around to the panel. Alex, go and introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? It's good to be back with the family. Let's get into it, man. It's your boy Alex Reed. Y'all can get at me on Instagram, 10 gold bands, 10GOLDBANZ_. That's how you can get at me on Instagram. And if you're trying to take an L on 2K, you can get at me at the highest order, not the. Let's get it.
Last but not least, Henry, introduce yourself to the people, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, they, them, he, him, she, her, all of them. I just want to say what's happening. It is your boy, it's your partner, it's your friend, Henry Capers. I'm so glad to be here with you today. You can always find me on Instagram at Long Live My Reign, all caps. You can always check us out at the Capers Cares Foundation. I'm so glad to be here with y'all today. Super excited to talk football. We've taken some time off. We've gotten a chance to rejuvenate ourselves. I'm actually kicking in, chilling, and on the West Coast right now, getting a little rejuvenation myself. So I'm glad to be with y'all. Let's get it popping.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And before we get into this episode, we got to give Henry the floor to let everybody know about our partners at the Capers Cares Foundation. They've been doing big things in the community. And Henry, I'll give you the floor.
Man, thank you so much, bro. Definitely want to say thank you to every single listener, everybody who follows the podcast, everybody who follows the work that we do with the Capers Cares Foundation. Super excited to be able to say that we're always trying to do amazing work that helps change the lives of the folks in our community. And so, with that being said, I definitely had to make sure that I elevated and shouted out the work that we did a couple of weeks ago in response to our Thanksgiving holiday. The Capers Cares Foundation proudly was able to feed 108 families for the Thanksgiving holiday. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody who supports us, everybody who's sending us prayers, sending us thoughts, commenting on our videos, showing us love with the work that we do. It truly means a lot to know that we have a village of people supporting our efforts to make the world better. That's what we're here for. That's ultimately what our purpose is for this organization. Keep making the world a better place.
Yes. Thank you, Henry, for that, man. We are truly grateful to be working with you all at the Capers Cares Foundation. We are truly proud and grateful of what you guys did during this Thanksgiving holiday. If you guys don't already, follow them on Instagram at the Capers Cares Foundation and give us a follow as well at the Dynastyers podcast on YouTube and Instagram. We do have a short streak going right now. It is 15 days straight. You heard that right, 15 days straight, and we are
15 days.
going. Now that we're at the end of the introductions, let's jump right into it. One of the big games of this past weekend NFL season, the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles were successful in defeating the Buffalo Bills in overtime, 37-34. Josh Allen threw the ball 51 times, actually played fairly well. 339 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, had another 81 yards rushing, and another 2 scores on the ground. But Jalen Hurts just outdueled him, man. 200 passing yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, and 65 on the ground, and 2 touchdowns on the ground, including the game-winning score in overtime. So coming to you first, Alex, what were your thoughts of seeing this showdown between two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now?
Man, my assessment of the game was, man, first off, that was a hellacious game. That was a wonderful game that we witnessed. If you were able to catch it, you were blessed with 2 Titans going at it. It was a great time for Josh Allen to kind of remind the NFL world that, hey, I make mistakes, but I'm still top 3 quarterback in this league. Don't get it twisted. It's going to take a Herculean effort from not only Jalen Hurts with those late game heroics he had, but just the complete team. This Eagles team is a lot better than what they were last year. All right. And they were in the Super Bowl last year. Let's not get that twisted at all. They were representing the NFC as in the Super Bowl last year. And they are 10-1 this year. And I honestly don't know how they're the underdogs versus the 49ers coming up. But let's get into that later.
No idea.
Pertaining to this game, Philly has one of the most complete football teams I think I've seen in quite some time. And what I mean by that is the defense not only gets stops, they not only prevent you from getting into the red zone, they not only prevent you from converting on third downs, they actually score on defense pretty consistently. They have a lot that front seven and that back four, insane. I don't really think there's any much to do. I understand how football works as in you got to have an elite. You want to have an elite cornerback. You want to have an elite running back. You want to have an elite linebacker. You want to have elite wide receivers. You want to have an elite quarterback. And usually, some teams they might get like the Bills, for example. They got an elite quarterback. They got an elite receiver, but sometimes that defense is a little shaky, Or with the Cowboys, they got an elite defense, but sometimes that comes through, and sometimes that is just there, But with the Eagles, I haven't seen a team, like I said, and I keep saying it because I'm really amazed. They've been doing it all season. I just haven't seen a team this complete. I really haven't. I don't know if it's the Kelly Green jerseys that they're wearing. I don't know if it's Ruby Rose in the stands and we don't know it. I don't know what it is, but they need to keep doing it because I think they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. I thought it was going to be the Dolphins this year with Tyreek Hill, with Tua, with Waddle doing the little dance he does. I thought that was going to be the team. I thought it was going to be the 49ers. But when it comes down to it, I trust Jalen Hurts more than I trust Brock Purdy. We've seen Brock Purdy when his weapons are not there, how he looks. He looks kind of like, yeah, I'm just here. I'm an average, maybe a little bit above average quarterback. But if I'm surrounded by Debo, shout out to Debo. If I'm surrounded by Debo, C-Mac, Kittle, hey, you got a different ball game. If I got my guys behind me, we might win it. But Jalen Hurts has separated himself because, yes, he has Devontae Smith. Yes, he has A.J. Brown, who's had an amazing season. But he's the quintessential dual threat quarterback. He's up there, in my opinion. He's not Lamar Jackson because of the MVP. But if we give him the MVP this year, I won't have anything to say. I won't have anything to say at all. I think he's put himself in that category where if you want a Super Bowl in the NFC, you have to go through me. You have to go through Fletcher Cox while he's still here. You have to go through Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown in our Kelly Green jerseys. I think.
Okay, well, I want to look at it from the opposite end of the perspective now because looking at Philly, hearing all of the good things that Philly has, I mean, right. They are the most complete team. I will give you that. They're a very dominant team, but like you mentioned, they are the underdog against San Fran. And so, coming to you about it, Henry, we'll get to San Fran versus Philly. I want to give us time for that. We have a segment for upcoming games to discuss. I want you to look at it from the Buffalo Bills side of things, Henry, because I look at this and I see another team. I see a team in another big moment spot, a monumental game. The eyes of the world is on them, and they came up short yet again.
Yeah, well, see, here's the issue, and I don't mean to cut you off. Here's the issue, right? The issue is we watched a Buffalo Bills team that has been overhyped for the last 3 seasons actually fall short because of their deficiencies for once, right? I think we've seen many times before that this Buffalo Bills team fell short just because they couldn't get it done or because the opponent was better than them. We watched this game and we saw that the Buffalo Bills had this game in hand, but they just didn't have the steam to get to the end. We're finally at a place now where we can come to the recollection that this Buffalo Bills team is not who we thought they were. Whether it is the coaching, whether it is the fact that your edge rushers, pass rushers aren't getting to the quarterback the way we would like them to do anymore, if we're realizing that that offense just isn't as good because they don't have every element of that offense able to lean on. We just don't know exactly what it is, but we're realizing now that the Buffalo Bills just aren't the team we thought they were. 3 years ago, the Buffalo Bills were a threat to be a big thing. 2 years ago, the Buffalo Bills had an opportunity to be the big thing and take it to the big game and couldn't get it done. A year ago, the Buffalo Bills were afraid that they would miss their window. This year, we're watching the Buffalo Bills have missed their window, and I think that they are on a decline, and it's time for them to go ahead and start making transitions. We first see that there is some disconnect between quarterback and receiver, right? I'm the hugest fan of Gabe Davis, and I've been asking for Gabe Davis to have this type of game all season long. And so for him to be able to come in this week's game, and he did what, 6 catches for 105 and a touchdown, great job, right? But we've been asking for this all season, and you're a little too sporadic for me. The whatever relationship was there between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, it is no longer there. That relationship isn't there anymore. They are strictly professionals now. There used to be a friendship there, and we could see that in the way they played football. And I think that really does matter in the work that they're doing. You have to like the people you're playing with. And I don't think that you can just be professionally coworkers. That just doesn't work. Not in the game of football. There's too much cohesion that needs to happen. And so offensively, there's just not working. On the ground game, they're steadily trying to find a running back option that can make it happen. James Cook isn't the answer. Latavius Murray isn't the answer. Ty Johnson isn't the answer. Josh Allen seems to be the only person on our offense that can run and get us more than 50, 60 yards a game and do it consistently while achieving end zone scoring touchdowns. And so that is a significant problem because at some point the tread on Josh Allen is going to run off and you're not going to be able to have that element of his game. I'm also seeing some deficiencies in their offensive line. So the biggest issue for me is that their offense can't win ball games anymore. Their defense had an opportunity. Their defense got tired. They got burnt out. We started seeing some late game mistakes from Josh Allen, some late quarter mistakes that I was a little disappointed in because I watched the first half of the game and was thoroughly impressed with how he played. Next thing you know, they're like, uh-oh, Philly's coming back. Like at one point, Philly was down by like 13. So for Philly to be able to come back, then take the game into overtime, then win the game in overtime blows my mind. But I think that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing the rise and fall of a franchise, the Buffalo Bills. That's where we're at now.
Okay. And so, Henry, staying with you, I want to ask you from Alex's perspective that he mentioned. Philly, this team, they're showing that they're the most complete team. They're showing that they're the Super Bowl favorite. Are they who
complete.
You're rocking with right now?
No, I don't think they're complete because I think we saw a chink in Philly's armor as well. If Philly comes out slow, if Philly comes out a little lethargic, if you realize that Hurts isn't making a couple of throws or he's making early mistakes, which he has the ability to do any game, anytime. Listen, we can't do the brotherly shove every time we're on 4th down. I don't care what variation, what tricks, what manipulation you put into it. Sometimes it's just not going to work. We've seen it give us a high yield rate, but when you're down by 13, the brotherly shove isn't going to make a difference between whether we get in the end zone or not, unless you're on the 1 yard line and your offense has got to get you there. And we're realizing that they can start off slow. And if the right team catches them on the right day and makes the right plays, they can easily be a team that makes it to the Super Bowl and watches somebody else hoist the trophy again. And so I won't say that they're the completest team, but I will say of all of the talent, of all of the teams in football, they have some of the better weapons, the better options on their roster than many other teams. My hat is still being hung on another team to win the Super Bowl. I think our Super Bowl champion this season is in the AFC, as it has been for 3 of the last 5 in this decade, or in this last decade, 2 of the last 5, right? I just don't see Philadelphia doing it right now. Philadelphia is going to have to show me more dominance over the next 5 weeks, over the next 4 weeks for me to be convinced that Philly is going to be the outright number one. Hey, these guys are going to take it. Because if you ask me right now, Lamar Jackson is playing the best football he has ever played. And it's hard for me not to root for Lamar Jackson because I think he's hungry. He's never been there before.
And
So
Alex, coming to you for the other side of this question, bro. Buffalo. I mean, do you see the same thing Henry's saying? Or are they done? Have they missed their window with Josh Allen? What are you thinking?
Honestly, I didn't have much faith in Josh Allen from the start of the season, and it wasn't really his fault. It was just how public Stephon Diggs was with his displeasure. And going to what Henry said, you don't have to. I'm gonna piggyback off of it, and then I'm a little diverge off of it a little bit. But you don't necessarily have to be friends, but you have to trust each other in sports, and that's the thing. Stephon Diggs is what, top three wide out right now. You could make a case for top one, the top, but I'll say top three. And
I
so
think
is
he's a top
Josh
five
Allen.
guy. I think he's a
Top
top
five
five
guy.
guy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
that's
think he's a
fair.
top five guy.
All right, but Josh Allen, that playoff run they had last year, that really hurt him, and it's really kind of immature on Stephon Diggs for him to let it show this bad. Because if you really want to win, you're not gonna get a quarterback that much better than Josh Allen. You're just not. He's another dual threat quarterback. He's got some legs on him. What differentiates him from Jalen Hurts, another dual threat, is that Josh Allen might have 30 to 40 pounds on Jalen Hurts. So that's a whole different dynamic. You're not gonna get another quarterback like that, Stephon. So the fact that you went public with it, saying, basically doing everything but saying I don't fuck with him. And then you had your brother come out. That's he doesn't even play on your team. For him to make it that vocal, saying, "Hey, get him out of here." Well, what? You kind of shot yourself in the foot. And that's not even on really Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs as much as it is the front office. They let that fester. They could have deaded this. They could have done this something over the off season. Something could have been done. And I feel like if something had been done, if they had been sat in a room like Kobe and Shaq did, rest in peace to Kobe, when they settled their difference and said, "Hey, this is where we had the disagreement at. Let's try to move and get some type of cohesion, something so that we can make this stick. And if there's a trade, then nobody will know one of our trade values will be higher." Now, Stephon Diggs is probably going to go. He's probably going to get traded, but they're not going to get any fair compensation for that because they know he wants to get out. So to answer your question, Kate, they really shot themselves in the foot before week one even started. And then once he made it known that he hadn't talked to Josh Allen all season, like, that was none of our business, bro. Like, you didn't have to go that far.
Right. Well, see, here's what the problem is. The problem is that our organization, and when I say our organization, in this case, I'm talking about the Buffalo Bills, our organization has not prioritized the elements of our team the way they should have. One of the things Darius and I talk about all the time is if an organization in the offseason isn't adding to their team, if a team is staying the same, they have gotten worse because there are so many teams around them that have made the step forward, have identified needs, have made those specific needs priority, and then gone to go fill those priority needs. I'm not seeing that the Buffalo Bills have done that. They knew what their needs were at the beginning of the season, support in the run game. They knew what their needs were at the beginning of the season, more pass rush ability because Von Miller wasn't healthy up until 2-3 weeks ago. They knew what their needs were. Their secondary was getting a little bit older, so they needed to add and bolster to that. And they just haven't done those things. And those are the things that got them beat. Those are the things that have caused them not to be a successful football team as of right now. We're watching, they might not even make the playoffs anymore, y'all. Like let's talk about how crazy that is to think that they might not make the playoffs anymore. They have lost over the last 6 games. They're 3-3. They lost to the Patriots in the last 6 games. They lost to the Bengals in the last 6 games. They lost to the Broncos in the last 6 games. They lost to the Eagles in the last 6 games. So what's that? They're 2-4.
2-4.
That's not good. That is not good when you're losing to a team like the Broncos. That's not good when you're losing to a Patriots. What are we talking about? The organization has not prioritized what needs to be priority to win ball games. They just didn't get better this offseason. I don't blame Stephon Diggs. I don't blame Josh Allen. I don't blame players on this organization. I don't blame McDermott. The organization hasn't done what they needed to do. And if we do want to blame somebody, it is partly McDermott's fault. But even then, that's like we're hanging our hat on the hope that these organizations allow these coaches to do what they need to do in the spaces that they need to do them in. And I can't always agree that that's what's happening here. DeRice and I had a conversation earlier today. How do organizations not identify what their needs are and go fill them? Something is in the way. We don't know what the inner workings of an organization look like. And how many times has a coach publicly said, hey, I was wrong for making that decision. I was wrong for doing that thing. Never. And you want to know why? And this will connect to our Frank Reich conversation later on in the show. The reason why they don't say they're wrong is because the first time you say you're wrong, your neck is on the chopping block for making a mistake. Teams, coaches would rather live and die with who they have on the roster than say, oh, I shouldn't have let that guy go to the other team. We had the money. We should have went to go get him. He wanted $6 million. We offered him $5 million. We should have gave him the extra $1 million. These teams, these organizations are not willing to say they made a mistake. You should have never had the first overall pick and brought in a coach like Frank Reich, who is old as dog doo-doo. Like, let's be real. You bringing in a number 1 overall pick at quarterback, you need to bring in a young head coach who's vibrant, who knows how to run an offense, who's offensive minded, so that way you can give him some excitement. You give him a Frank Reich as his head coach. What do you expect? What did the Buffalo Bills expect by not bringing in the weapons that they needed to bring in to be able to compete in the AFC?
And honestly, that's a perfect segue into the Frank Reich being fired topic, bro, because, and I just want to lead off with this one because this was a topic near and dear to my heart. I remember it was beginning of the season. I was telling you guys, the Carolina Panthers do not have enough weapons. They did not make the adequate moves this offseason to set a rookie quarterback up for success like they have for certain quarterbacks coming into the league. There's no reason why you should draft a guy number 1 overall, but trade away his best weapon. You replace his weapon with a guy that's about 5 years older than he was previously and a completely different player. We're starting to see that Adam Thielen isn't that number 1 receiver late on in the season as we thought he was beginning on in the year. Whether that's play calling, whether that's Bryce Young's incompetence, whether that's just fact of the matter offensive line, we don't know. Right. But regardless of the matter, Frank Reich is no longer the head coach for the Carolina Panthers.
But the problem is that the Carolina Panthers were wrong from the start. What is his name? Tepper, the guy who's the owner?
David Tepper.
David Tepper made a mistake from the draft.
Yeah.
You do not go get Bryce Young with your number 1 overall pick when you look at his size and you look at where he comes from. I stand on this, and I will when I become an NFL head coach, I will stand on this hill until they take me out. I will never draft a quarterback from the SEC. If the climate of the SEC looks and remains the way it has been for the last 20 years I've been watching college football, the last 10 years, Darius, you and I have been immersed and entrenched in the elements of football, I will never draft an SEC quarterback.
But you can't say that, bro, because think about the SEC quarterbacks that you would have missed out in the NFL right now. You would have missed out on the Joe Burrow. You would have missed out on the Jalen Hurts. You would have missed out on the – who's hurt?
Hold on. So Joe Burrow's hurt.
Okay. Played in the Super Bowl.
Jalen. Okay.
Played in the Super Bowl.
Here we go. Time out. Because y'all are telling me great things. Joe Burrows played in the Super Bowl, didn't win. Since then, has had a shoddy career at best and hasn't lived up to the hype. Jalen Hurts, right, played in the Super Bowl. In the SEC, he did so poorly, they put him on the bench and he had to leave. Okay? So give me another SEC guy, because I can give you quarterbacks that have shown me that they have the ability to get it done from these other conferences that are less than the SEC and are guys in this league. Go ahead. Give me another quarterback.
Tua, you got a Josh Dobbs. You
What has
got
Tua done? Josh Dobbs is a journeyman. Keep going.
Matt Stafford's a SEC quarterback.
Matt Stafford is an SEC quarterback from the 2010s, bro.
That was within the last 20 years. I'm just throwing out these names of other
Okay.
SEC guys.
Fair.
Anthony Richardson
Fair.
was tearing it up before he got hurt. SEC
He's
quarterback.
hurt. Fair. He's hurt. So of the list that you guys just said, you guys just gave me 6 quarterbacks over the last, let's say 13 years. Over the last 13 years, let's just take it back to 2010. Over the last 13 years, you've given me 6 quarterbacks. Only one is playing football. Only one has a Super Bowl. Only one.
Don't look now, but the leader in MVP, Dakota Rain Prescott, played at an SEC school as well.
And has no Super Bowl appearance, barely gets it done in the playoffs. This is what I'm saying, guys. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying about talented players going to the SEC, but because there is so much talent in the SEC, these quarterbacks don't get a chance to put on full display what talent they have to be able to do the job. If everybody at your job is good, nobody will be able to tell you you're not being successful unless they pull it back with a fine-tooth comb. And I won't be the head coach to risk my job on pulling back on a fine-tooth comb and finding out whether or not you're transcendent. We knew from the jump Bryce Young was not going to be transcendent. He could throw the football. He looks good throwing the football, but that doesn't make a guy transcendent. We are watching the brightest star this league has seen this early on for a kid at the quarterback position. Bro, I have never in my time of watching football seen a kid come in as a rookie, play as good as CJ Stroud has played, to the extent that he's already a foregone conclusion as rookie of the year. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that he's a top 5 candidate for the MVP of the league. When is the last time y'all saw a rookie quarterback come in and put that type of talent on display? I'm only saying this about Bryce Young because everybody assumed that because CJ Stroud couldn't test well, that was the reason why he shouldn't have gone first overall. And that's not fair looking at where this kid comes from. Looking at the dynamics of this player, we cannot automatically assume that because he doesn't test well, he's not going to play well.
Well, I'll say this, and I'm going to pitch it to Alex because, Alex, I want to get your opinion on Bryce Young, the Carolina situation, Frank Reich. What do you think of what they should do with their next coach? But I'm going to say this, bro. I don't think it had anything to do with testing for CJ Stroud for me. It had everything to do with, you talk about Bryce Young having talent at Alabama. CJ Stroud's teams at Ohio State were significantly better than Bryce Young had at Alabama. There's no question. Receiver, CJ Stroud had 4 to 5 receivers that would go to Alabama and have started over anybody that Bryce Young had to play with. Yes, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba. He played Marvin Harrison Jr. was on that team as well. And then Aquanu that they have right now is going to be a first-round pick. He's played with 5 first-round pick receivers. Bryce Young has played with 0. He had Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield. I'll give him that. But other than Jahmyr Gibbs, I can argue any of those 5 receivers is equal, if not better, than Jahmyr Gibbs on the college level. So, but CJ Stroud has had significantly more talent, offensive line talent. Let's not even discuss that because he has 2 offensive lineman tackles, one that'll be a first-round pick this year and one that was a first-round pick last year. Bryce Young didn't have that. So, Bryce Young showed a way to elevate his talent. I'm going to come back to you, Henry, but I want to let Alex get in on this point. Alex, what were your thoughts about Frank Reich getting fired? What are your thoughts about CJ Stroud as a prospect going forward? Bryce Young as a prospect going forward, excuse me.
Well, on Frank, unfortunately, when a quarterback comes in and he doesn't have, like you said, the right weapons around him. Now, forgive you, give me an example. Adam Thielen is probably a wideout number 2 at best. Yes. Miles Sanders is, he's not in Philly for a reason. Let's just say that.
Yes.
And when I say that, I mean, they had DJ Moore last year. I think they had C-Mac last year. Now, if they were able to get Bryce Young and still keep those guys, then maybe we'd be talking about a different story. But what you have to do, I feel like, with young quarterbacks is you have to start them with a whole brand new slate. We weren't checking for Nico Collins before this year. All right. He was probably a good player, but nobody was checking for him until CJ Stroud got there. And with the other weapons that they have with the Texans, they're all young guys. So there's no pressure for CJ Stroud to be like, all right, well, I got to get him 5 catches right now. I got to get him 100 yards right now. I feel like there was different pressures that CJ Stroud doesn't have to worry about because he is the man. First off, he got a perfect situation because the Houston Texans were doing everything they needed to do to get rid of Deshaun Watson. They needed to get under that Deshaun Watson umbrella quick, fast, and in a hurry. So they did. It's almost like they rebranded the whole organization once he got to Cleveland. So you start fresh. You got a brand new quarterback, a young light-skinned brother, looks like Steph a little bit. He gives the fans something to get behind. It gives the organization something they can get behind. With the Panthers, that was already a dumpster fire going from last season. When they did that big trade, trading DJ Moore to the Bears, and then they traded C-Mac to the 49ers, we were already kind of looking at that franchise like, what are y'all doing? And that was before Bryce Young even got in the picture. So seeing that he came into a dumpster fire, it just the way the ball rolls is that Frank Reich is going to be the scapegoat. That's just how the ball rolls. I think he'll get another job, but I don't, I think they need to do a lot more work. I still think Bryce Young is a great talent. I'm not going to lie to you. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's something that we can move forward with. I think if you give him the right young weapons, you can see let's see what happens around this time next year. That's all I would say. I think he was just dealt a bad egg this year. But, for the new coach, and y'all tell me what y'all think. Because I was looking at a couple guys, and I was thinking about Kellen Moore. He's not that old. He's somebody, give you an example, he's somebody that Bryce Young can grow with. He was an offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and then with the Chargers. But I say that you could kind of develop a Tua, Mike McDaniels type of relationship. Mike McDaniels is not that old, guys, and then you may Tua just got in the league, and you see what they built. Now they're not a Super Bowl contender yet, but there's chemistry there. There's trust from quarterback to coach, and there's trust from the coach to the quarterback, and then from the quarterback is going to go out to the rest of the offense. But you have to develop that cohesion and that trust first. And a geezer like Frank Reich and Bryce Young, that never works almost. And you can tell from what's his name, Bill Belichick and Mac Jones. And it just doesn't usually work. You have to usually get somebody on the same level. A new coach with a brand new quarterback. Now, if he's a vet, you can probably get somebody that's got a little bit of cachet behind his name. But for a young, wide-eyed quarterback like Bryce Young, you need somebody that you can play around with, I guess, get to know them, and not have to feel like I got granddad coaching me. I might lose my job if I mess up. Like you don't need that type of pressure. And CJ Stroud isn't dealing with it.
Exactly. Another name I want to say, and then Henry, I'm gonna give it back to you because I want to hear your point that you were going to say earlier. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. He chose to come back to Detroit last year because he knew a head coaching job would be coming available. I don't know if this is the one he's looking for, but considering the jobs that will become available, I'm looking at maybe your Commanders, Alex. I'm looking at the Chargers. I'm looking at
it's going to be about 7 jobs that are open.
6 or 7 jobs.
Yeah.
Carolina's at the top of that list considering money. Not. Considering the only reason you're saying that is probably because of draft picks, but quarterback already in place. Would I rather go to a Commanders or a Las Vegas Raiders or a Carolina Panthers? At least Carolina already has their young quarterback established. The Raiders don't have draft capital along with not having a young quarterback. So it's like Carolina's not the worst job. I'm not going to say it's the best. I will say it's the Chargers job is most likely the best. Draft capital, young quarterback. Maybe Chicago will be open as well. That's a wide array of draft capital, a young quarterback. You'll have cap space. That's probably the best job considering all things equal. But I mean, Henry, I'm gonna give you the floor, bro. What do you think? Like Ben Johnson, that's another name that comes to mind for me, possibly for
Ben,
Carolina.
yeah, Ben Johnson. I mean, I didn't even think of Ben Johnson, but that's a good person to think of. I mean, when you think about the climate right now, we're going to see about 7 or 8 jobs that become available because of the direction of the NFL. And I can tell you, I don't think the Carolina Panthers job is enticing at all. I don't see anything. I don't see anything exciting to be able to bring in a really good head coach, somebody who's going to stand firm and hold it down for you for the next 5, 6, 7 years. You're going to really have to do some hard convincing. You're going to have to do some hard shaking up of that roster to be able to make sure that who you want, you can bring in. I think that there is room for a Flores to come back into the head coaching conversation. I would love to see Flores come to Carolina and serve as the head coach for that team. I think that he could work really well with what that defense already does well, find a really strong offensive mind, and get somebody who can really contribute to what Carolina needs to do to make that team successful. But I'm just not sold right now that the Carolina Panthers will be heading in a direction that's worth looking at over the next few years. I'm not sold on that at all. So
another name I want to throw out there, bro, and this guy's made wonders, has done wonders with another quarterback. I just mentioned him. I'm talking about the Alex's Commanders, and this is the perfect segue into this Commanders Dallas game.
They're not going to
Eric Bieniemy.
They're not going to give him a job.
Don't sleep on Eric Bieniemy coming to Carolina and working with that man Bryce Young. You see what he's doing with Sam Howell, man. You see it.
Nah, they're not going to give Bieniemy a job. If he do get a job, Bieniemy will probably get this Commander's job. But they're not giving him no job. And to your point, Alex, I think Kellen Moore. The reason why Kellen Moore ended up going to Los Angeles, I think the reason why he went to Los Angeles because he was in Dallas. The reason why he left Dallas and went to Los Angeles is because he knew that Chargers job was coming. I've been saying that for a year now.
Yeah,
I've been saying that for a year.
I've
been saying that for a year. So Kellen Moore is a big name to bring in, but you just got to pay him money, and I don't know about that. I saw a name for the Carolina job that blew my mind. And I was like, you know what?
Name?
We might have saw the same name.
Might have seen the same name.
I truly believe. No. Okay, we didn't see the same name. We didn't see the same name. Who'd you see?
I saw. They said Nick Saban would consider coming back to the NFL.
Heck no, Nick Saban. No, heck no.
I said
heck
what?
No. Nick Saban ain't leaving that.
Not for Bryce Young.
Yeah, not for Bryce Young. I can see him going to the Texans to get C.J. Stroud.
The Texans give me like the Chargers want to come calling, maybe. But I ain't leaving that empire in Bama for no Bryce Young in Carolina.
You know what?
Sorry, bro.
You know what name I saw? And I was like, I'm actually okay with it because we saw something like that similar happen. I saw Greg Olsen. And I actually said Alex, and low key.
You thought about Saturday, didn't you?
Hey, I thought about Jeff Saturday.
Look, that's exactly.
I thought about Jeff Saturday, and I low key said I trashed Jeff Saturday, but Jeff Saturday kind of won games.
He kind of won games. He has 2 wins as a head coach.
Yeah, he won a couple of games, and so I think we're going to see if Greg Olsen gets a job, if he gets a chance to coach with this organization. I would not be surprised if more NFL players jump straight to head coach just because of their connection, their legacy, and that gravitas that they had in the league while they were there in their time.
Speaking of a team, like we mentioned, that may be looking for a new head coach this offseason, Alex's Commanders, man, took a awful loss this past week to the Dallas Cowboys, man. We were talking about Dak Prescott in our earlier segment. Dak Prescott is looking like a top 5 quarterback this year, may be one of the leaders for the MVP this season. All for this to happen and them to lose in the divisional round of the playoffs. But it's still exciting for us to talk about when they beat teams that they should beat handily. They beat the Commanders 45-10. Alex, coming to you first, as you are the commander on our cast. What were your thoughts about seeing the Cowboys just have their way in a sense? What were your thoughts about that, man?
All I'm gonna say is thank God they won. Because if they had lost this game, it would have been just on time, just on schedule for the Cowboys. But they beat a team that they were supposed to beat. Like you said, we're not supposed to be. Weren't supposed to be in this game. We weren't in this game. Eric Bieniemy got Sam Howell leading the league in passing yards. I don't know if that's a thing still, but thanks Eric Bieniemy. They need you down in Kansas, Kansas City. But back to Dallas. Dallas is the second best team in the NFC, behind the Eagles. I think it's a fair gap. So, I'm not going to give this very much. Dak Prescott is playing better. He's not throwing away games like he was a couple weeks ago. He's actually looking like, yeah, if the defense is doing what they need to do, if our defense is Micah and the Marauders, then I will be Dakota. I will be my whole name, and I will get us just there. Or in this case, if we're playing a significantly worse team, I will look like an MVP, because that's exactly what this was. This was a significantly worse team in the Commanders going up against the school bully and getting ramrodded. That's what happened. So, yeah, I'm going to bring back the ramrod, because that's what happened. We got ramrodded again this week. The Commanders did, and that's what it was. But I'm not going to give Dallas any credit for beating up the school bully. I mean, the school weakling. I'm not going to do that. Like it's Sam Howell. Our biggest name on the Commanders is the offensive coordinator. That's the biggest name we have. And I'm supposed to give Dallas credence to beating us. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. I hit the group chat when we traded away Bryce Young and my man Sweat. That was it for us. What else am I supposed to do with that? That was our best two defensive players right there. Gone.
Oh, you talking about Chase Young?
Chase Young, yeah. Chase Young and Montez Sweat.
Chase Young and Montez Sweat. So after that, we don't have anything to stop anybody. Like, I'm not even wearing the jersey this week. This is shout out to Mike Vick. I'm not even wearing the jersey this week for this game.
Hey, well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have to go ahead and tell you, bro. You can't keep saying ramrodder and take the off the back that, because that sounds crazy. When you ramrod, that's wild, yo, my boy. You gotta stop that. You really gotta. I mean, you my dog, but you get on here and you be just letting it go. Like you gotta stop that. What I would say is this, bro. We are watching an interesting time of football. Coaches of color aren't getting opportunities. They're giving these opportunities to white coaches. These white coaches aren't winning ball games. These black quarterbacks aren't getting paid the money that they're owed. These white quarterbacks are getting paid over the money that they deserve and aren't being successful. And so I'm interested to see how the tide will turn for sports in general, where there is a value for what one player in their race has to offer versus the other, right? And I don't want to make it a race thing, but I am very interested. We talk a little bit about Dak Prescott and the way he's been playing. And I think that we need to be mindful that elements of his game have been stripped away since that leg injury. I haven't seen Dak as mobile in the pocket as I would have liked to see him over the past couple of seasons since he had that lower extremity injury. And so I think we've just been watching him in real time figure out how he plays football again, right? And I think we have to do a better job as, critics, sports heads who talk about him, fans of the game, of giving him grace in this position, because he plays football for the most scrutinized team in this league.
Probably in life, like
in sports. It might be the most scrutinized team in sports.
Besides the Lakers, I can't think of another team.
Anywhere else, Dak Prescott is the best quarterback the best quarterback our franchise has had in 20 years.
Think about it. 4 or 5 division titles, like Pro Bowls.
He's a Hall of Famer anywhere else. The reason why he won't make the Hall of Fame for the Cowboys, or the reason why he won't make the Hall of Fame, is because he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. He hasn't even gotten close to one. So we just got to be mindful. Let's not scrutinize him to the extent that, we say, oh, he's going to. I mean, Dak has been consistently good. His numbers are consistently like up in the top each season that he does play. And when that team falls short, we can identify 10 other reasons why that team fell short, from not having enough pass rushers to having old guys under contract who got hurt or couldn't play, or from the fact that they didn't draft well, or from the fact that they didn't sign well in free agency, So there are a bunch of different reasons. Dak plays good football, and I give Dak grace in the sense that he's doing a lot of things right now, and I'm interested to see what that looks like for him in the postseason. I also want to shout out Dak Prescott and his beautiful girlfriend. They'll be bringing in they just announced they're having a child. So we definitely want to send love and shout outs to you, Dak. Keep doing great things. He's also a huge advocate for mental health, and so definitely want to shout you out for that as well.
Yes. Oh yeah. Salute to him. Definitely want to shout Dak out for that. And I agree with both of you guys, man. He's very scrutinized. He was playing for a team like I always say, the Commanders. They would love Dak. Speaking of scrutiny and a player that is harshly scrutinized, this pivots us perfectly to the next topic of Caleb Williams or blank. For those of you guys that know, we are talking about the NFL. We're talking about college, all things included. We have to talk about Mr. Caleb Williams because it's looking like he's going to be the number one pick in this upcoming NFL draft. And he has faced a lot of scrutiny this year. Some warranted, some unwarranted. The warranted scrutiny is the fact that he can't beat Utah for some reason. He's 0-3 in his 2 seasons against Utah in the Pac-12.
That's terrible.
The other scrutiny that's not as warranted is the fact that his receivers have led the Pac-12 in drops besides Colorado, and they're 7-5 this year. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the boys to the test. I'm going to give them blind stats from an NFL quarterback as of today, and they are going to tell me if they'd rather take Caleb Williams, what he could be in the NFL based off of his college numbers, which you will see, or this player as of today. For those of y'all that want to see Caleb Williams' numbers, Caleb Williams has about a 69% completion percentage this year. He's thrown for 3,633 passing yards, 30 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, but he's also rushed for 11 touchdowns. So 41 total touchdowns to only 5 interceptions. That is Heisman worthy, but he's not going to win it this year, unfortunately. Right. So let's start us off with the easy one. I don't know if this one's easy. You guys might be surprised who the name is. Would you rather take Caleb Williams or would you rather take this blind quarterback? This blind quarterback stats are about 66.5% completion percentage, passing yards of 3,339 yards, 18 touchdowns to 13 interceptions. Henry, I'm coming to you first. Would you rather take Caleb Williams or this blank NFL quarterback?
Am I allowed to ask questions?
Sure.
All right. Is the
I
blank?
just can't give you who it is.
Oh yeah, sure. Because I think I already know who this is. Is the blank quarterback, the quarterback that is said to be unknown, is he an AFC quarterback?
He is not an AFC quarterback. No, sir.
Okay. He's not an AFC quarterback. I think in this case, if he's not an AFC quarterback, because to be honest with you, if he's an NFC quarterback, these are actually good numbers for the NFC.
These are actually very good numbers for the NFC.
These are good. These are good. Yeah, these are good numbers for the NFC, bro. This gives me Sam Howell. And if this is Sam Howell, I would choose Caleb Williams. This gives me Sam Howell. Am
These
I
are
right?
this is Sam Howell's numbers.
Okay? All right. All right.
These
Okay.
are
All
Sam
right.
Howell's
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah,
but
cool.
when you look at him without Sam Howell being attached,
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, that's pretty
Yeah.
solid.
That's
Alex,
pretty solid.
This is essentially me asking, would you rather keep the guy you have or take Caleb Williams? I'm assuming you're gonna lean Caleb Williams, right?
I would tell you what I would do. I would get Sam Howell, and I would tell him that there is a flight that he needs to catch leaving in 10 minutes.
Jeez.
And it's not a round trip. It's a one-way.
I understand, bro. I understand. Hey, Sam Howell, I like what you're doing, bro. I would take you on my Jets over Zach Wilson, over Tim Boyle, over Trevor Simeon. You're a baller, bro.
Jeez. I definitely take Caleb Williams over that.
Definitely take Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
For future reference, if you guys know the quarterback, just give me the answer instead of, you know what I'm saying? Because of course it's like, you know, oh, Caleb Williams and Sam Howell. Yeah, I'm going to take Caleb Williams.
My fault.
Let's just think about the stats.
All right, my fault.
Quarterback
because I was
two.
Because what's funny, no, I was about to say what's funny is I didn't even look up those numbers, but I was reading and I'm like, if that's an NFC quarterback, those are great numbers. If you play in the AFC, you're probably below.
You're one of the bottom teams.
Yeah, right? You're one of the bottom teams. Yeah, but that's not bad though for Sam Howell to have almost 4,000 passing yards. Oh my gosh!
like Alex said, he leads the NFL in yardage, in passing yardage. It's just
that's impressive.
Yeah, Josh Allen has a touchdown.
That's impressive.
So he's playing well, bro. He's playing really well.
Yeah, that's impressive. I'm shocked. Go ahead.
Okay, quarterback number 2. Would you take Caleb Williams or this blank quarterback? This blank quarterback has stats of 70% completion percentage, passing yards of 2,871, 19 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Are you taking Caleb Williams or are you taking this blank quarterback? Starting with Alex this time.
Is this my only question is, like Henry said, is this quarterback in the NFC or the AFC?
This is also an NFC quarterback.
I'm taking this quarterback.
I'm taking
I'm taking this quarterback because you look at it, 28-71, 19-6 interceptions in the NFL. If we double that, or even if we even if he stays on pace, right? Let's say he gets to the 10 interceptions, that puts him at 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 29 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. That. Are you guys ready for who this is?
I feel like I know. Go ahead.
I think I know who it is too.
This is Brock Purdy.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was.
Leads the NFL in completion percentage.
That's what I thought it was.
This is Brock Purdy. So you guys would take Brock Purdy over Caleb Williams. You're okay with that? Even knowing team situation, targets, weapons, Kyle Shanahan's system, you guys are okay with that?
If I'm the 49ers, knowing who this quarterback is, undoubtedly, I'm like, do I put Caleb Williams in that offense and do we get better? I don't think we get better. I think we actually take steps back because I've always said to y'all, I think Caleb Williams is bored with football. I think he needs a challenge. And I think he needs to be in an organization where the challenge is greater than what he has on roster. I think the 49ers is too stacked of a roster. I think that we would see that they would lose a lot of unnecessary games because he's made stupid turnovers. If you put him on a Atlanta, if you put him on a Washington team where the win can determine how good you are, I think he would fare off a little bit better than being on a team that we know the 49ers are going to have a post-game push. We're not worried about that. We know for a fact the 49ers are going to win 13 games. 12 games. They're and
they'll be there.
2 or 3 wins at the end of the season. They're going to be able to compete for a Super Bowl. They're going to be able to compete for an NFC championship. We know that's happening. That's been the 49ers the last 10 years I've been watching football.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's that quarterback, really.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's been them the last 10 years. That's the culture. I don't know.
My fault.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, my fault. What were we saying, bro?
I was just going to say, I don't know if Caleb Williams embodies that culture the way we need him to successfully take the 49ers team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like Brock Purdy's safer. Alex, you agree with Henry here? You stick with Brock Purdy even on?
Yeah, I see. And it goes back to my Bryce Young point because there's an established hierarchy in the 49ers organization. Who the number one wideout is, who the number one running back is, who the number one tight end is. I just think that Caleb Williams will come in and try to make a name for himself, so to speak. And when you're in San Fran, that's warm weather, and Ruby Rose is in the stands. So you might, like Henry said, you might throw a pass that you don't need to throw. And now you might have lost a game versus my Commanders, and you're making us look better than what we really are, type thing. Right. So I think in a different situation, I think Caleb Williams really needs to try to find himself in a situation where if he's not playing with the Bears, he's playing in a situation similar to CJ Stroud. So I'd go with I'd keep Brock Purdy, honestly.
Okay, that's what's up. So far it's seeming like 1-1. You guys will take Caleb. And then the other one, it's like, okay, we're going to stick with Brock Purdy. So, okay. Right. So Caleb over Sam, Brock over Caleb. Okay. Quarterback number 3. I'm going to give y'all one. Let me switch it up. Let me go here. Would you guys rather take Caleb Williams or this mystery quarterback? This mystery quarterback has passing numbers of 67% completion percentage, 2,746 passing yards, 12 touchdowns, to 7 interceptions. I'll go ahead and give you guys the conference because that seems like the question you guys need. This is an AFC quarterback. Starting with Henry this time. Henry, are you taking this random quarterback or are you taking Caleb Williams?
I want to say Caleb Williams here, but I know who this guy is. And I would choose this guy over Caleb Williams probably 9 times out of 10.
For real?
Right now.
Okay.
Right now. But just for the sake of the show, I keep my very strongly educated guess as to who I think this is to myself. And I will say I'm picking this quarterback.
Okay. Alex, what about you?
All right. So, my question is, how long has this quarterback been in the game?
This is this quarterback's third year this season starting. This is year 3 stats right here.
Year 3 stats. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it was year 5, I'd probably take Caleb Williams just because I feel like I could mold him a little bit better and get a little bit more, get those interceptions down a little bit. But if it's year 3, we're not even through the league yet. I think I'm gonna take this guy, especially since you're saying he's in the AFC, and we all know it's a dogfight in every division in the AFC. Right. So, am I gonna, the teams are a little bit more evened out. People have their wide out ones. They got their slot guys. They know who's gonna be catching the ball. And the fact that I kind of think I know who this is anyway, because y'all have maybe a better football person. I'm gonna take this guy.
Nah, you wanna know the thing though. This guy just got a new receiver and he's not comfortable with them just yet. You can see how they play.
Yeah,
you can see how they play. They're still kind of gelling it out. I mean, like,
man,
I hung my
football too well, bro.
I hung my hat on this guy and the new receiver to start my fantasy team this year. And to start the season off, they gave me some really good numbers, but I since have had to kind of like split up that tandem.
But the crazy thing is, the last 2 weeks, this tandem has been
cooking.
Back.
It's been cooking.
And I can say that from personal experience. I got on my fantasy team now. I don't want to leave the people in suspense. This is the Prince, Trevor Lawrence.
Boy,
Yes,
that
I
boy
would take
good.
T-Law. Take T-Law over Caleb as well.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
T-Law.
crazy that y'all guessed all three of those without knowing. I don't think y'all are gonna guess these last two. I really don't think y'all are gonna guess these last two. You know why?
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. This is the funnest segment we've ever had on the show. I'm having a good time.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back. Caleb Williams or I
All right,
gotta
here we
go
go.
with this guy. I don't think y'all are gonna get this guy. Caleb Williams or and no, I'm not going to give y'all AFC or NFC. I feel like that's making it too easy. Just look at Caleb Williams or his quarterback. This quarterback stats right now: 64% completion percentage, 1,987 total yards of football, 13 total touchdowns.
I know who this is. I know who.
Which one are you guys taking, Caleb Williams or this mystery quarterback? Alex, I'm coming to you first this time.
Man, he ain't got no interceptions.
Oh, he got some turnovers now, but there's a reason I ain't put those up there. We gonna just go off of this. Let's go off of his positive. I'll tell you his picks. He has 7 interceptions.
Okay.
7 interceptions.
Okay. Oh, I know who this is. Yeah, I know who this is.
All right. Can you tell me how many years he's been in the league? Because that's I'm trying to build a team. That's why I'm asking.
No, and that's a really good question, Alex, because you're asking, do I have faith in a young guy who's still trying to learn the game of football, or is he a vet that I can't get rid of? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is a vet that we can't get rid of because of their contract.
No, you're actually incorrect. This is a year 3 quarterback. This is a year 3 quarterback. This is year 3. He's still a young guy. In a sense, he's still a young guy.
With that being said, then looking at these numbers, 13 and 7, give me Caleb. I feel like Caleb could come in and do much better than that. I know it's on you, Alex, so I toss it over to you, but
no, I'm good.
I'm not sold. I'm not sold on this kid. The 1987 total offensive yards just doesn't excite me right now. So because you said he's a young guy, I'm afraid this is Zach Wilson.
I wish this was Zach Wilson. 13 total touchdowns.
I'm so afraid this is Zach Wilson.
You're taking Caleb as well, Alex?
Yeah, I'm taking Caleb because I know who the quintessential. Well, not quintessential. I know who the prime creme de la creme young quarterbacks are. And sorry, Henry.
I didn't know what you was talking about.
I was going over my words, man. I was going over my words, but yeah, I think I'd take Caleb. I like Caleb's upside, man. I think Caleb. He had a bad stretch where I think they had lost like 3 straight games or something this season.
They on that stretch now.
Oh well, yeah, they're still up there.
Yeah, and they're still losing.
They're still stretching.
There's other quarterbacks, like Bo Nix, my man from LSU, that I like more than Caleb Williams, but I can't just not what I've seen from Caleb. I think Caleb is. Right. It might be a bad comparison, but he reminds me of Cam Newton. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. He looks like that Auburn boy, and that Auburn boy was an MVP. A big, stout quarterback that can run and is accurate with the football. And he has a face that sells. He's going to put butts in the seats. He's a light-skinned brother. There's more shine for quarterbacks that are a little bit in the lighter complexion. And I say that because we see how they treated Lamar Jackson even after the MVP. So
for sure.
Since he's checking all the boxes for what the NFL is wanting, I'd rather take Caleb.
Man, so y'all basically just told me that if you guys are the Chicago Bears, y'all are taking Caleb Williams because this is Justin Fields' stats. And the reason I took off his turnovers is because he has 7 interceptions and 5 fumbles. So this is 13 total touchdowns to 12 total turnovers. So I knew that would have been the determinative factor. Like, I don't know if I'm going with this guy. So, okay, I have 3 more quarterbacks left. We're going to go in and get through these really quickly. Caleb Williams or this mystery quarterback right here. His stats are 62% completion percentage, 2,000 total yards, 9 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He is an NFC quarterback.
And
I'm
he's
taking
not playing anymore, right? He's
I'm
done
taking
playing for the year, right?
Oh no, he's still playing.
Jeez Louise.
I'm taking Caleb.
I'm
I
taking
saw the
Caleb. I
9-8.
thought this was Daniel Jones. This looks like a Daniel Jones-esque type of stat. But now that I know he's still playing, he's an NFC guy. Ooh, this isn't Ritter, is it?
No, this is not Ritter. No, sir.
Okay. Woo. I was about to say, geez,
Ritter
Louise.
had two weeks off. You know, they had Heineke starting for like a game and a half.
Ah,
This
that's
is
right.
this
That's
is
right.
Bryce Young. I put Bryce Young stats up here just because I was thinking if Bryce Young was in this draft class, where would he be? Because you know he left as a junior, so he left as a
He'd have been the fifth quarterback taken.
and so that's my what I'm thinking. You know, we're discussing about how deep this quarterback class would be. I was just thinking Bryce Young coming into the NFL, he was looked at as a big prospect. So okay, that's cool. Two more quarterbacks. I promise you, these two guys are more competitive. I'm not giving you AFC, NFC for these because when you see these numbers, you'll be like, whoa, those two guys are good. Let's start here. Caleb Williams or this legend, this mysterious quarterback. The quarterback has 61% completion percentage, 2,600 passing yards, 19 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. Which quarterback are you taking? Henry, I'm going with you first.
I'm taking this quarterback. I know who this is. I'm taking this quarterback.
Okay, you'll take this quarterback. Alex, are you taking this quarterback or are you taking Caleb Williams? I can let you know this. This is a young guy. He's not a veteran. He's a young guy.
Okay. I'll probably take this guy. And I say that because we're kind of halfway through the season. If you can get a 2-to-1 TUD or more ratio to interception, I'm probably taking you. And since you just said he's a young guy, you can still cultivate him. You can still get more weapons around him and get them the interceptions a little bit lower. And I want the viewers to know this. Yes, these quarterbacks he's showing, most of them are young guys. They have a lot of interceptions. Y'all need to stop assuming that every quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. There are not many quarterbacks that are only going to get 1 to 2 interceptions a season.
Right.
Okay, so these are normal numbers. These are
true.
good quality quarterbacks that we're getting and that we're comparing. But I don't want y'all to look at Drew Brees, prime Drew Brees, and prime Aaron Rodgers when he was that bad man up in the Cheesehead Factory, whatever they call themselves. Either way, these are quality quarterbacks. And saying that, I'm going to take this guy.
I'll let y'all know. Caleb Williams is going to have more than 5 picks as a rookie in the NFL. That is going to happen. Absolutely. If you guys had a guess, though, who do you think this quarterback is?
Jared Goff.
I knew you guys wouldn't be right. Nope. What do you think? Who do you think, Alex?
I said Jared.
Believe it or not, these are Jordan Love's numbers this season. Believe it or not.
That's not bad.
Jordan Love, first year starting Jordan Love for the Green Bay Packers.
That's not bad. He's won a couple of games.
If he had a better record than 6-5, 6-5, is the Texans' record. They're 6-6 or 6-5. If he had a better record than 5-6, man, he'd be getting that love CJ Stroud was getting as a first year starter. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And last but not least, guys, like I said, the last quarterback I wanted to get you guys' opinion on, Caleb Williams or this mystery quarterback. His numbers are 65% completion percentage, 2,588 passing yards, 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Who are you going with, Alex? Are you taking this quarterback or Caleb Williams?
I'm gonna take this guy.
Does it change your answer? The fact that he's been in the league for 6 seasons, 5 seasons, 6 seasons. Does that change your answer? Possibly getting to his prime. Does that change anything?
See, now I'm gonna still take this guy. Because he seems like, just off the stats, he seems like a person that's not, obviously he's not going to throw the game away for you. I like the completion percentage. The yards are, what they are. And to not, fool the well, not fool is the wrong word. To not give the answer away to our viewers real quick, I'm going to just say that I would take this mysterious guy.
Henry, coming to you. Who would you take? Would you take Caleb Williams or this guy?
I think I'm taking this guy, but the organization, I got to hear who this guy is. I have to pick before I find out. And I think I know who this guy is, but I hadn't done well picking the last three. So I'm just going to say I'm going to go this guy in confidence that I'm right.
If you guys had a guess, who do you think this mysterious quarterback is?
I low key want to say it's Lamar,
Okay, Alex, who do you think?
but then Lamar might not be right. But Lamar, 7 interceptions, has he had 7 this season? Because I could easily see this being Pat too. Because Pat hasn't had a great passing year.
That's from I'm not even gonna lie. I thought it was Pat. That's why I was like,
But
You got to go with this guy because it's like these numbers are. That's respect.
and even if it's like Pat or Jack or L Jack, bro, they ain't really got nobody throwing a ball to, especially Pat.
But this could be also Joe Burrows because Joe Burrows was passing the ball really well before he got hurt. And so maybe he was statistically high and has been on a vacation. I don't know, man. This guy right here is an elite kid, though. He's in the upper echelon, and so
Okay. I'm not even gonna hold you guys in suspense anymore. You guys are guessing about this quarterback like he's the second coming. This is Baker Mayfield's number one season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh
yes.
man, my boy Bake, man.
Yes.
I'm so proud of Bake because he got some good looking numbers, bro.
This is Baker Mayfield's season as of today with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He has the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 4-7, but he's playing some football, bro.
Wow, man. I'm so happy for Baker Mayfield, man. He deserves this, bro. Because I'm not going to cap with you. Alex brought up a really good point. He was like, if you can keep that touchdown interception ratio low, the interceptions was his thing.
That was his thing. And that's why I had to hold a laugh in when Alex said, but this guy takes care of the ball. I'm like, they have no idea the narrative about this guy prior to this season.
I mean, you talking about 2,600 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Baker's having a great year. Yeah, Baker needs they need to go ahead and give Baker an extension. He deserves that, bro. He deserves that. This was fun, bro.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed this.
This was fun, bro.
This section of the show. We're going to got one more section before we get to words of wisdom, everybody. We just want to go to the upcoming game for this week. What game of week 13 is catching your guys' eye? Alex, I want to start with you, man. What's a game that you're looking forward to with this coming week of football?
Well, I'm excited to see, how far. I got a couple teams. First off, I want to see the continuance of Lamar Jackson. Play the Rams. That's a pretty good team. I want to see what that Ravens defense does. I want to see if they can, maintain the mantle. So I got the Rams and the Ravens at 1:00. I got that. Then another team I was looking at, of course, is the Texans and the Jets. The Jets, they have a good defense still. This is a good test for CJ Stroud. Nico Collins can get off. I need him to actually get off from my fantasy team.
Wait, that's week 14, my guy. Wait. Week
14.
Week 13, I meant.
Oh.
I meant that upcoming week. My apologies.
Gotcha.
I was looking. I said, we got the Texans. We might get a dub this week. Now, wait a minute. Atlanta might be a dub too, though, while you playing.
Well, I already know for a fact that Monster is going to go crazy for fantasy for me this week. Need that. C-Mac in the Eagles. That's the big one that I think everybody has on their calendars. And like I said earlier, I got the Eagles winning that. I don't have the Eagles as an underdog. I think it's going to get kind of ugly, honestly. I could see that in a world where the Eagles beat the 49ers by 2 touchdowns. I can see that. And especially if they do the complete opposite because we've seen them start off slow and still win games. So they can still win by a field goal, but if they come in hot, because they've heard the noise. I don't know if y'all know, but the Philly fan base is probably the most toxic fan base in sports. And I know their players are just as toxic. I know they've been hearing all the noise. I expect Jalen Hurts to put the I'm not going to do it because I'm not a part of the organization. But Henry, you know what I'm talking about when that boy get excited and he start telling y'all where he's from. You know what I'm saying? I expect to see a lot of that this coming Sunday. I ain't even
Yeah.
The game I'm interested for, man. Y'all don't sleep on them Packers and the Chiefs, man. The Chiefs had a good game last week. They starting to see Rashee Rice. He's starting to develop like I thought he would. Y'all don't sleep on them Packers, man. That's the game I can't wait to see Sunday night, December 3rd. Henry, what game you got, man?
I'm a little shocked that there's no Sunday night game, like that the Chiefs play at 5:20 and that the Jacksonville Jaguars play Monday night at 5:15.
I wonder why they changed the time.
You know what?
Oh, it's because you in LA. I'm about to say, I'm like, wait a minute now, bro. Nah, them places at 8:20 and 8:15. What you talking about?
Bro, I'm on West Coast time. I'm looking like, bro, what am I missing, bro? I'm like, what are they doing?
Jeez, that's lovely.
Bro, that's hilarious.
5 o'clock. Imagine being able to see a football game at 10 o'clock.
At 10 a.m. Had your whole day.
And the rest of the day? Come on, bro. That's winning.
Game over by 8. You can still go step out. Oh, man.
You winning.
I always love watching Kansas City Chiefs play. You know, diehard fan. I think we're going to have a nice push in the postseason. Definitely think that this Eagles 49ers game is going to be great. Nonetheless, I mean, I don't expect anything less than that. I might have to go. I might have to watch that Carolina versus Tampa game since we talking bake. You know what I'm saying? Like, since bake cooking like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, since bake cooking. And here we go. I want y'all to hear because it's to fans that listen, they might think I like Baker Mayfield. Darius, I need you to be my advocate in this moment and say, I have never liked Baker Mayfield until this season.
I was more of a fan because of
the only reason why I like Baker Mayfield is because of something he did last season. Baker Mayfield was the backup quarterback for the Rams last season. Baker Mayfield
came in and went 1-7 as a starter. It wasn't 1-7, but
he played 2 games. He played 2 games for the Rams. And Alex and his he played 2 games for the Rams.
He was 1-3 as a starter.
Bro, for the Rams?
For the Rams, yeah. He actually played 5 games for him, but he started 4, so I was giving him the 1 game.
Okay, all right. Well, the game he came in late game and won the Rams, masterclass. Alex, viewers, I need y'all to go look it up on YouTube. I'm going to even try to get Darius to add the link in the comments so that way y'all can watch how dope Baker Mayfield looked passing the football, bro. Passing the football, he looked elite, bro.
You know he beat the Raiders last year with Jimmy Garoppolo, right?
Listen, I don't care.
He didn't beat a great team.
I don't care, bro. One other game, there's 2 other games I'm looking forward to this weekend. There's a lot of good football on low key. Lions Saints. It's gonna be a good game. I'm excited for the Lions to come back. I need Montgomery to do something. Please, God darn it, Montgomery, help me out, man. My fantasy team is hurt. And I love seeing the Seahawks play just because I'm a fan of Geno. I think Geno is kind of like caught stride. He knows how to play football again, which is amazing. But I think the Cowboys are going to dog walk. So I'm excited to see that. Before we go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and talk, Darius. I need to look something up. Stall for like 2 seconds. All right.
Okay. Yes, I definitely could do that. And we are actually now transitioning to the words of wisdom. So, I mean, I guess that's a perfect place for us to, I guess you can say, quote unquote, stall. So, Alex, I will give you the floor first, my guy. What words of wisdom do you have for the people today? And yeah, man.
It's always important to stay truly humbled under God. I know y'all see my banner Um, Free, truly humbled under God. I need another album. But in all honesty, I want everybody to take a minute if you have time. I know you guys have time. Take a minute to kind of just look around you a little bit. Look at what God has given you. And I want you to guys to understand that I do have a brother-in-law. Shout out to Jeff. He does watch our podcast. Shout out to Jeff down in Tampa.
Shout out,
Um,
Jeff.
Got to go to Qatar. That's in the Middle East, serve for to help serve the country. So, prayers with him. But, we don't have to go fight. We don't have to, we're not have to get on the plane and somebody's going to tell us, hey, we need you in another country to do X, Y, and Z. We don't, and I know sometimes, life may throw its worst curveball at us. Sometimes we're like, man, we're doing all this work and we don't see the manifestation. We don't see the big picture. We don't see the light bulb, the light at the end of the tunnel, whatever you want to call it. And I just want to let everybody know that means that you're getting closer to what you're supposed to be doing. Give you guys an example, and I'm gonna be very quick because I don't want to hold anybody over, but give you guys a quick example. Before I started doing what I was doing at my occupation now, we were in the middle of COVID. And I was doing something. I was a trust administrator for a bank in Detroit, and I didn't really see another way out after COVID because I didn't want to be stuck in a city where I first off didn't know nobody, and where the death toll and the amount of people getting sick was so immense. I think Detroit was one of the top 5 worst cities to live in during COVID because of how bad it was up there. And I say all that to say that God has put me in an occupation where I didn't study. I didn't study in school for human resources, and I'm in a great opportunity, and I'm in an opportunity where I'm able to help others get to where they want to be at. And I want to say that I'm having the most fun. I love what I do, and I love helping people, man. So if you guys feel like you're kind of at a crossroad, you don't know where you want to go, just keep praying about it. That's all I got for you. Just keep praying about it, and I promise you, the result you're going to get is going to be 1,000 times better than what you thought it was going to be. And I have no discrepancies about my old occupation. I have nothing bad to say about it at all. But at the end of the day, I just want to help somebody, and I've helped way more people in the last 2 years doing what I'm doing than I think I've helped in my entire life, honestly. And I've tried to help a lot of people, but the direct effect does something to me that I can't even describe. So if you feel like you're at the end of that crossroad, just keep on going a little bit longer, and I promise you it'll work out.
I appreciate all of what you said, bro. I'm a butt in here as well because I want to first say, Jeff, man, salute to you. Thank you for supporting us here at the Dynastyers. A warm Dynastyers. Thank you. And salute for your service from us. And we will be praying for you. Safe travels there, safe travels back. Thank you for everything you do in the military, man. So from us to you. Man, I want to kind of piggyback what Alex said, man. Prayer works, man. Prayer is strong. Prayer works. Prayer is power. I'll just tell my story real quick. I don't want to hold anybody up. For those of y'all that are WWE fans, CM Punk is back in WWE. This has been a long time coming. A lot of prayer has went into getting CM Punk back on a WWE screen, back in a WWE ring, back in a WWE arena. I didn't care about his AEW stuff. I didn't care about him in UFC. He was the best in the world in WWE. And I say that jokingly, man, but seriously, bro, prayer works. God knows what you want. God knows what you've been asking for. He knows how to give it to you. He knows when to give it to you. And just pray, man. God got you. He makes no mistakes. So just trust and believe that what you're praying for, he'll bless you with in due time. So last but not least, Henry, the floor is yours, my guy. 3 words of wisdom.
Man, thank y'all, man. Shout out to my dog. What's his name again, Alex? What was his name again?
Jeff,
Shout out to my dog Jeff. Yo, Jeff, sending you love, blessings, peace. We really want you to be safe when you're over there. You're doing something that not a lot of people are doing. And so from my family to yours, I want to say thank you so much for the sacrifice. Thank you so much for the intention. Thank you so much for protecting me while I sleep at night, protecting my family. So we sending you love. We want you to know that we're here for you. We're going to keep putting out content just for you. Man, keep listening, keep tuning in. Tell the people in the platoon, tell your people in your unit, tap in with us. We want to send y'all love. Let us know how we can be supportive of y'all. If that's care packages, whatever that is, Dynastyers podcast, Capers Cares Foundation, whatever that looks like, bro, reach out to us seriously.
Please.
We want to tap in with you. All right. And just definitely want to also elevate, man, yo, like it's a great time to be alive right now. It is a great time to be alive because there are so many things that are going on, so many things that can affect our daily living. And if you're not looking for the great moments in life, you can easily miss how dope life has been. Yeah. Right. And so you find those small things, you find the small victories in your circumstance. Something as amazing as sitting down, shouting at my screen because CM Punk came back to the WWE, or watching Randy Orton get a dub at Survivor Series with this dope team, or being able to get on this podcast with my guys. I'm here in San Diego and they're back in North Carolina. That's amazing for me. You know, that's finding peace and happiness in my circumstance. But there is one thing that, man, oh man, brings me joy anytime I see it. And it is my dear friend, Jameis Winston. Y'all hold on one second.
Man, I don't know what he's saying, bro.
I'm telling you, every time I see Jameis, he look like he's having the time of his life.
Bro, Jameis Winston is the epitome of live a good life. And so to all of our listeners, to all of our fans, to everybody who follows and rocks with us week in and week out, please appreciate life. It's so valuable. It's so tangible. It can be gone in an instant. And I hope that that small little glimmer of laughter with Jameis allows you to feel as though life isn't as bad as it is. Find love, find peace, find happiness this week, my friends. Y'all take care.
At the end of another great episode of the Dynastyers podcast, man. Truly, thank you guys for your time. Thank you for listening to us, man. From me, Kung Fu Cape, Darius Capers, my brothers, Free, that I don't even know what thugs stand for. Alex. Truly humbled under God. Man, when I tell y'all Young Thug's lawyer is full court pressing right now. This is the end game to try to get that man out.
Yeah, that boy finna go down. I'm praying for that. I'm praying for that boy, but he finna go down. They finna go down. They not let that Rico on him. Oh, they on him.
Rico. But yeah, man. But another great episode. Until next time, it's your boys at the Dynastyers. Peace. What's good, party people? It's your boy, Kung Fu Cape, a quarter of the Dynastyers podcast. If you made it to this part of the video, you're the real MVP. You're the champion. But to make sure you keep repeating as champion, you gotta give us a sub. Give us a sub on the YouTube channel at the Dynastyers Podcast. Give us a follow on Instagram at the Dynastyers Podcast. We post a lot of important information. A lot of key dates are coming up soon. Dates that you don't want to miss. So go ahead and sub and follow so you can stay abreast of what we got going on. You don't want to miss it.